okay? It stays down, but I'm going to put my hands on it. If I take a knee, what are the chances of me getting my muzzle in the ground and filling my muzzle full of dirt, right? Again, that's part of that muzzle control. See, if it hits the dirt, okay, it's not going to really hurt anything. However, it can get filled up with mud or snow or whatever it is, and then that's a bad thing, okay? If you go to shoot the gun, it could cause overpressurization, overpressure in the barrel, can actually bend or split your barrel, okay? So do I keep your muzzle empty of debris or anything like that? So if you bend down, you have to pick something up, lift your gun up, have control over it, okay? Just keep your muzzle up, but that's part of that muzzle control, all right? So. We've covered secure, we've covered guard, and we've talked a little bit about pointed in, okay? So with pointed in, this is when you're in your firing position. So you got your gun, you're at guard, and all of a sudden you're here. You're pointed in. Your safety's off. Your finger's on the trigger, and you're here. It doesn't mean you're firing, but you're ready to. If you need to fire, you're firing. You got your sights lined up, and whatever it is that you're shooting at is fully shootable. Because if it's not, you should be here, right? Or even here. Okay? When you're pointed in, it means the shotgun is properly mounted in the pocket of the shoulder. The sights are on the target, where you want to hit on the target, okay? Your focus is on, your eyes are focusing on the front sight of the gun, okay? Not your target, the front sight of the gun. Because wherever that front sight is, that's where the gun's going to hit, okay? So that's really where your focus needs to be, on the front sight. Your finger will be on the trigger, and you are actively engaged in or delivering hits on your target, right? So you're either ready to shoot, or you are shooting your target. Okay, so you're here and you're ready to go. This is literally a firing position. You're pointed in. All right. Any questions about pointed in? And your front, your focus is on the front side. Like right now, I'm literally staring right here. Right here. That is a perfect focus, perfect crisp focus. And I can see whatever it is I'm shooting behind it. Okay? I'm still aware of everything else that's around. My peripheral's working. Okay? But my focus is on the front sight. Yep. We clear on that? Okay. And then the fourth one is what? You have it on your list there. It's continuity of fire. Let me read what it is, and then I'll explain a little bit. It's any non-firing manipulation to service the firearm to continue the fight or put it back into a fight, such as combat loading, ejection port loading, malfunction clearance drills. Okay? While you're fighting, you can either run low on ammunition, right? You can have a malfunction where the weapon either fails to fire or has a double feed or whatever it is, has a feedway malfunction of some sort, and you've got to clear that to get it firing again. That's called continuity of fire. So you're keeping the gun up and rolling. Okay? While doing that, it is vitally important that you do not violate any of the safety rules, which means you're treating the gun as if it's always loaded. You got muzzle control. You're keeping your finger off the trigger. Okay, is that right? And you're aware of your surroundings and what's going on around you. Part of continuity of fire. So, real quick, what are our four places a firearm should ever be? So let's go here real quick. So I'm going to do like this. I'm going to go. Give me the first one, Padron. Secured or stored, right? Yes. Okay. Secured and stored are not two different ones. They're one and the same. Okay. What's the second one? Well, not firearm safety rules. What's the second thing as far as where a firearm should be? Should ever be? What's that? Guard. There we go. and Alsop, point it in, okay? And our fourth one right here, Coghill.
Fourth one, continuity of fire.
Continuity of fire, right?
Is ejections, mechanical clearing, all that stuff like that.
Sure, you got
Anything
it.
to keep the gun going.
Malfunction clearances, loading, whatever it may, keep the gun going, keep the gun firing, keep it actively working, right? That's continuity of fire. Any questions on those four things? Is that all pretty clear? Pretty straightforward? Yes? Excellent question. So the question is, what if you don't have a sling on your gun? Okay? Like this one right here, right? So, which is why I brought this one in, okay? How about this? This is called pocket carry, okay? This is the proper way to carry a firearm that does not have a sling on it.
I was always taught to keep it kind of in your arm, pointed down to the ground,
And so,
like with your hand on it.
so kind of like this, like that, right? It's not a terrible thing. This one offers a lot more control because anytime you're like this, and every time you turn directions, how much is your, we like to call it a safety circle, okay? Which is that area around you that you can safely turn and not muzzle anybody, right? Not cover anybody with a muzzle. This is a pretty wide circle, right? Where this, how tight's this, right? Now you notice I'm not holding it down here. What does that do? Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that, okay? Here, and it's nice and tight. It's right up against me. It's up against my shoulder here. My hand is right here on the gun, okay? And I've got good control of it right there, tucked in nice and tight, okay? Pocket carry. And that's really your, that's your best and safest way to carry a gun without a sling. Now, all the other stuff is the same. Guard, pointed in, continuity of fire, it all is the same stuff. So if I'm here, okay, and I can be at guard, can't I? Right? Now I've got a shotgun, so where's my finger? It's on the safety, right? Okay. So here it is. I'm on the safety, and I'm ready. My eyes are up. We're open. I'm addressing whatever it is I need to address. If I need to shoot, okay, safety's off. Fingers on the trigger. Front sight's there. My focus on my front sight, and I'm in the process of firing. We're getting ready to fire. Okay. So I'm here. And as soon as I'm done, trigger finger straight. Okay, come down. Safety gets back on. Fingers back on the safety. Doing all my stuff. If I have to keep the weapon going, whatever I'm doing. Okay. But if I'm loading my gun, where's my finger?
Off the trigger.
It's off the trigger, right? It's off the trigger. I'm doing all my loading stuff and doing all this stuff to keep the gun up and running. If I'm having to do any malfunction clearances, that's what I'm doing. Running the gun, whatever I'm doing. Okay. All right. Does that answer your question for that? So, again, pocket carry. You don't have a sling.
Now, what do you do if you're around somebody, like we have a lot of ATV where people put the guns in there like this, they drive by everybody, barrel pointing everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those.
There's a lot of that. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you got, you're going to see firearm safety violations all around you. That's where you need to be the example. Okay.
How would you carry it on a four-wheeler? Just like a sling, like you said?
Yeah.
Because you know how they have them on,
Sure.
those little gun rack things, and the gun's going this way.
Sure.
And you're driving down the road, and there's like 5
Driving
inches
past the
going that
school.
way.
Sure. There's that. That would be the proper method in carrying the firearm in the rack system. Okay. Even like with in our trooper vehicles, we have a couple different gun rack systems. Some of them have the gun going vertical, facing upwards, right? The barrel upwards. Others have a vertical rack inside where they're horizontal rack. Okay, where they're in there horizontally. Okay. But either way, no matter which way it is in the vehicle, we carry the firearms the same way. And that is, there's no rounds in the chamber at all. The hammer is dropped on an empty chamber, and the gun is fully loaded. The magazine tube and the shotgun You've got a full magazine in the ARs, okay, but the chamber is completely empty and the hammer has been dropped on an empty chamber. Which, to do that, there's lots of steps we take before we pull that trigger, because we intend for it to go click, not bang. Okay.
You empty the chamber you're at, click, turn it around, load the.
What's that?
For a shotgun, you empty the chamber, then load it.
I mean, you can do it with it loaded, but there's well, that's something we're going to talk about out on the range today, maybe a little bit in the classroom a little later on when we're actually going through the actual weapons familiarization. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where if you see that, or if you're carrying, if you've got a gun rack and it's an actual rack on your four-wheeler, some have them on the side mount where it goes down, and some have them coming across. How the gun is riding in there is the most important thing, okay? Because here's the deal. Like this shotgun, for example, okay? Number one, this shotgun we use for training purposes. There's no firing pin in it. It cannot go off. However, I treat this gun as if it's loaded, okay? All guns are always loaded, okay? Those guns are made out of blue plastic. How many people have I pointed those at today? Okay? All guns are always loaded. Okay, so like for example with this one right here, okay, this gun has a safety, all right, which if you have safeties engaged and you pull the trigger, it won't allow it to engage the sear, which will then release the hammer, let it fall, okay? However, the way this is designed, and I can even break this down later in the classroom to show you, is all that keeps you from, or whatever's on the end of the muzzle from being fired or oblivion, is a little notch in the sear and in the hammer that engage, and the spring that keeps the tension on there, okay? If you're doing something like this, like bang, bang, hammering it with it, or you drop the gun or something like that, guess what? It could still go off even with the safety on. So if it's riding around in a four-wheeler, banging around in a four-wheeler, or in a patrol car or whatever else, okay, if there's a round in the chamber, can it go off? Yes, it can. It absolutely can. That's why we are responsible for the way we carry and control the guns, even when they're in a gun rack, okay? There should not be a round in the chamber. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Let me do this real quick. I can tell you right now that is not going to fit me. That's one reason I grabbed this one, because I know it will. All right. Let's talk about where the shotgun should never be. We pretty well covered where it should be, right? Where it should never be. So, one hand, muzzle up. Okay? So he's basically got it like this, right? And where's his finger? On the trigger. When do we see this? In the movies, right? This is a great Hollywood pose, Right? Or they have their pistol and they're up here, Exactly. I'm ready to kick the door. It's all for show, okay? They want you to see that nice, beautiful pearl-handled, 1911 Colt or something, whatever it is, or the fact that, hey, they got a gun. There's no actual tactical or actual safe purpose for that. And putting your finger on the trigger, huge violation of the safety rules, right? So one-handed muzzle up, okay? No. All right? Because your arm's got to do something, okay? Not good. So, it does, doesn't it? Does this look unprofessional? It feels weird. It feels wrong, right? And it's unprofessional. What? You're like,
Hillbilly. I'm from Missouri. Come on.
That's okay. It's okay.
I don't carry my gun like that.
Exactly.
I've seen people carry all
However, I've seen it happen. All right. Okay. This question was asked the other day. What's duck hunter? all right, when they saw the list, okay? Here's your duck hunter position, okay? Basically, you got your gun, you got it kind of across this way or carrying it this way, wherever it may be, right? You kind of got it sitting there, okay? Everywhere I turn, what am I doing? Okay? How many people do you see walking down hunting together just like this? All the time. How many times have you been covered by somebody's muzzle like this? I have. I absolutely have. Okay? Not okay. This is called the duck hunter position. Not okay. You muzzle everything and everybody. Okay? Dangling. The question is asked about what's dangling. This is dangling. Okay? Whether you have a handgun and it's just kind of dangling down there, right? That's dangling.
Or running with them.
Right? Or running with it. Okay? Yeah. That's dangling. Okay? Basically, you're talking, you're going to be pointing at everything this way, and you know, it's down there, it's over here. Right? Dangling. You have no control of the gun. Even this like this, that's dangling, right? Okay? Hold on to the gun. Control the muzzle at all times. Okay? This is not control. Okay? Then there's balanced on the shoulder. Okay? I know you all have seen this. Right? Or it's just weird, wrong. You know, doing stuff like this. Okay? Yeah, the whole back all the way across your shoulders kind of a thing. Right? Balance on the shoulder. Not safe. Who am I covering right now? Everything, right? So that's where it should never be, okay? And another thing on there you could also put would be unsecured, okay? Because if a weapon should be secured, it should never be unsecured, okay? Yeah. That being said, we'll be back at 5 after.